Relative density. Another flat earth fanatic, whose name I shall keep private, was trying to convince me and some others today that the evidence that gravity is in fact not real is found in the fact that its effect is actually caused by something else entirely. He referred me to Eric Dubois' video entitled Flat Earth Bible FAQ. This video is a 4-hour slog filled with nonsense poetry and insulting anecdotal fluff. However, I did find a single scientific term which I could look up, and I did, and I found something they call RDD. Now, RDD means relative density disequilibrium. So let's have a look at RDD to see if it actually does disprove gravity or not. So taking a quick look at what relative density actually means, relative density is also called specific gravity and is a dimensionless quantity defined as the ratio of the density of a substance compared to the density of the given reference material. So those of you who know a little bit about physics can already tell this is extremely similar to the kinematic equation that I gave earlier, which is useful for figuring out the forces of normal gravity. So I'm already quite suspicious that this is actually going to be the same thing with a different letter applied to it, because you know in science you can have a variable, gravity can be g, or you can make gravity s, or whatever you like. So let's have a look at the calculations and those equations. And wouldn't you just Adam and Eve it? True specific gravity of a liquid can be expressed mathematically as Sg true equals P sample over P H2O, where P sample is the density of the sample, i.e. the object, and P H2O the density of the water, i.e. the world. So it is the same as our previous example. It's exactly the same as the equation I gave. And I'm thinking, why have they turned V into S at the beginning? It should say volume gravity, but it says S gravity. Oh, I see what they've done here, it explains it. Where G is the local acceleration due to gravity, V is the volume. So because they've got V denoting the volume, V can also denote velocity. So S denotes velocity, and gravity is included. Like, this requires gravity in order to work. How do we measure it? So we go down to measurement. Relative density can be calculated directly by measuring the density of the sample and dividing it by the known density of the reference subject. Oh, well, that's weird. That's exactly the same as the way I was doing it before. Once again we see gravity. So we cannot calculate relative density, i.e. specific gravity, without also knowing the value of regular gravity. So rather than proving that regular gravity is not real by showing me this equation, they've actually proven that they A, haven't read this equation, and B, it requires regular gravity in order to be calculated. So in conclusion, we know, as expected, having examined the actual science behind these fancy literary labels, we find that RDD, relative density, either in its equilibrium state or its disequilibrium when trapped inside of a container state, these calculations require the consideration of our good friend regular gravity. Thusly, from this we know RDD does not replace or disprove gravity, quite the contrary. It actually proves that we require gravity in order to use these terms. And this is further evidence that flat Earth is absolute nonsense. These are fanatics of a stupid cult that doesn't have any knowledge of its own science, and is easily double-checked against real science textbooks and things you'll find on Google in order that you find what is actually true. And that is what you will see here, that gravity is actually true and is required for this. So, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. God bless you all, you lovely, beautiful little people, and I will see you in the next one. So that's all for now. Have a great evening. Bye now. Bye 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 bye. Bye.